operation to bring humanitarian aid to those in Gaza. You may remember the pier was announced by President Joe Biden back in March, involved the military assembling this huge floating structure off the coast at a cost of $320 million. And that's just the cost for the first 90 days, involving about 1,000 U.S. service members. It went into operation last week. You don't see this in the headlines as much. These individuals who are serving our nation, who are over there as a result of Biden's disastrous policies and his weakness that our enemies see. But I just want to begin with that. We mention all the time, we talk about Afghanistan, that disastrous withdrawal. But in the headlines today is, I know it's a 3-day holiday weekend. So many travelers headed out, some 44 million estimated by AAA Americans traveling for the weekend. But as I think of the true meaning of Memorial Day, I have to begin with this, that it began as Decoration Day to honor and remember those brave patriots who have given their lives for each and every one of us in defense of our freedoms that we talk about every day, that I know you are grateful for. But I just want to keep that in your heart as we go through today and think about this. And just to, I say to, our sons, we want to go down the Jersey Shore, have fun and all of that. But on Memorial Day, we will pay tribute because it's so important to say, hey, enjoy your weekend. Pause to remember its purpose and remember those who've served on this Memorial Day. Just outside the grocery store, I actually met a gentleman who's served our nation honorably as a United States Marine and talked about that experience and how upset he is with Biden. And I get that all the time. And so just having these conversations, just wanted to start out with that and maybe get your thoughts as well, 855-839-1210. Before we get to our great first guest, Phil Kerpen, I do want to take you to another story that's very concerning, and we should keep this on our radar, as I always say. But ICE now confirming that these Jordanians, these Middle Eastern men who are here illegally in our country, attempted to breach that Marine Corps base at Quantico, are both here in the United States illegally. And, now we have, yes, a dozen Republican House lawmakers, and this should not be partisan, by the way. Everybody should be concerned, but this is why it's not making the headlines, that a dozen Republican House lawmakers are demanding transparency on this issue, demanding information from the government, from the feds, the FBI. Where are they? About these two Middle Eastern men who tried to break into the Marine base there in Quantico, Virginia, using a box truck. Sound familiar? And the lawmakers are asking, Department of Homeland Security, FBI, please, we want the information. Disclose this information. Was this a possible terror plot? Now, we know one of these guys, Jordanian national, he had crossed the southern border illegally in San Diego, California. I don't know if that's where Malusian is, reporting from Fox that we talk all the time, but it's in that vicinity in California. So he crossed the border in last month, and they say that initially there was no derogatory information while they were screening this guy, so they let him go. They let him go, sound familiar? Into the United States with a future court date for possible asylum. The other guy was in the country illegally after overstaying a student visa, which expired a year and a half ago. This is unbelievable to me. It's scary that this is a brazen attempt, according to authorities, to infiltrate a military installation by foreign nationals from a terror-prone region. That's the statement we're getting. And come on, it raises a level of concern, does it not? Are you concerned? But no, they let the one guy just walk. And they're saying that the American people deserve to know the scope of this potential. Was it a threat? Were they doing a dry run? This certainly, it follows a pattern. I know that there was a former Navy SEAL, Robert O'Neill, has been quoted. I believe he spoke to at least Fox. He spoke to the New York Post I'm looking up all the sourcing where he has been speaking out. But he said the breach, in his opinion, shows signs that could indicate it was a possible dry run. Most likely, he says, in his estimation, for Al Qaeda or ISIS to see how far they can get a truck onto the base, into the base, and how the base would respond to a future terror attack. Now, he says that the guys are lucky they weren't shot, but they were not shot. And so that, to me, that's concerning. And if for nothing else, they find nothing, but don't you want the transparency? Don't you want the investigation? And yet everybody in the media, the mainstream media, so-called, seems to say, meh, nothing burger, just two guys trying to make some delivery in a box truck and, took a wrong turn. That's it. Nothing to see here. Wow. I don't know about you, but I'm concerned about it. 855-839-1210. We have Phil Kerpen. Yes, Phil Kerpen here and looking into policy and thinking about, as Phil Kerpen looks at this, Biden's illegal attack on gas-powered cars must be stopped. We talk about this all the time. Phil Kerpen, good morning.
Hey, Dawn, great to be with you.
Absolutely. So take me through what you're looking at as, this. It's really, politically motivated, I guess, to appeal to those voters who are, just looking at environmental causes. But at the end of the day, it's pandering, is it not? And take me through what you see, as I know you start out with talking about the Biden administration's infatuation with electric vehicles. We sometimes in other shows play this sounder with Kamala talking about the electric buses and the electric vehicles and how much she loves them. But they do. They love them.
Yeah, they're pretty obsessed. It's interesting because they've tried so hard to use subsidies, just lavish massive amounts of our money to get people to buy electric vehicles, and it kind of worked for a few years. I mean, electric vehicles went from basically 1% of vehicle sales to about 7.5 or 8%, pretty fast. But then they kind of hit a ceiling. They're not rising anymore, and I think that most people who want one have one at this point, and you've got most people who don't want one for a variety of reasons, or who, maybe they're fine with having one, but they've got two other cars in their household, and, they use one of the gas cars when they need to go on a long trip and things like that. And so this idea that you can replace the entire vehicle fleet with electric vehicles, even the Biden administration doesn't believe that. They got a guy in the energy department named Jigar Shah, who actually is he's the money man. He's got the $350 billion government loan guarantee fund, and he gives billions of dollars to this company and that company and the other company in loan guarantees. He had a tweet, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago now, where he said, something like, I don't have it in front of me, but this is a pretty close paraphrase. He said, well, we know we can't replace all the gas cars with electric vehicles. A lot of them are going to have to be replaced by mass transit and micro-mobility. And then I had to look up what micro-mobility means because I hadn't seen that before, and I think it means electric scooters is what I figured out. So, I mean, they're, they know that if they ban gas cars the way they're trying to do, not everyone's going to even be able to replace it with an electric vehicle. There's not going to be enough lithium and the other minerals and materials that go into it. A lot of people are just not going to be allowed to have cars at all, and that's part of their agenda. And, I think that what people need to understand is they're not going to take, we subsidized as much as we could. A lot of people didn't want it. We failed. They're not going to accept that, and that's why they have these mandates. And the mandates, I don't like the subsidies, but at least, with the subsidies, I'm being forced to pay for someone else's electric vehicle. I don't like that. But at least if I want to buy a gas car, I still can. So the mandates, I think, are much worse than the subsidies, and they're coming much faster than people realized. You've got 10 states now that are going to have a total ban on internal combustion vehicles by 2035. But even in the next couple of years, they're banning about half of all internal combustion vehicle sales in California and those other states. And then you got the national standards that Biden put out through the EPA. And there have been a lot of headlines. It's, they're going to ban 70% of gas car sales by model year 2032, which is to say, only 30% of all vehicles sold model year 2032 are going to be allowed to be internal combustion. All the rest are going to have to be electric. And you say that, and people say, okay, 2032, it's 8 years from now. I don't know. They kind of think, I don't have to worry about that. It's far off. First of all, it's not that far off. But those rules actually have a pretty severe mandate even in the near term. Model year 2027, which is 2 years away from now because the model year hits, the year before. Model year 2027, they've got a 32% mandate. So if you've got a 32% mandate for electric vehicles in just 2 years from now, and it's about 8% right now, well, a lot of people who want an internal combustion car, a regular gas or diesel car or truck, they're not going to be able to get one because the manufacturers aren't going to be allowed to sell more than 68% of vehicles internal combustion. If 85 or 90% of people want those, tough. If you can find one, it's going to cost a lot, and there are going to be shortages. And there's a reason that when President Trump called this a bloodbath, all they did was attack him for using the word. They didn't say he was wrong, right? They didn't actually dispute the substance of what he was saying. They just went nuts, how could he use that word? But, that is what's coming, and it's coming much faster, I think, than people realize because we've got huge problems model year 27. Forget about when they try to ramp this way up, in the years after that.
And so, and there are other ramifications too. I know a lot of the parking garages in cities like here in Philadelphia, where I'm broadcasting from, New York City, and across the country, they have to bolster the parking garages because the EVs are much heavier. We've seen some collapses and tragedies. This is a pretty short turnaround, especially when I think of maybe older cities or established cities, on the East Coast, let's say. But there are so many consequences to it. Even I think of bridges and infrastructure issues, especially in areas such as the East Coast, where you have, historic areas and these heavier vehicles. And I don't even think they're thinking this through with their game plan. There's no way that you can fix all of this. And the other piece of it, Phil, I would say is that why not just go hybrid? Why not? You know what I mean? That seems to me to be the answer.
It's interesting. The one company that really is still focused on hybrids is Toyota. All the other major manufacturers have kind of bought into the EV thing, and they're trying to shift their whole business in that direction. Although, a lot of them are sort of recalibrating away from it now because it looks like, it's not what consumers want. But I talked to a guy from Toyota, and he made this exact point that you're making. He told me that with the amount of lithium and other materials that go into a pure EV, they can make 6 hybrids. They can make 6 hybrid vehicles out of the same materials that it takes to make one pure electric vehicle. And if you think about it, you're almost definitely going to get more emissions reductions from 6 hybrids than you are from one EV. And so if this is really about the environment, that's definitely the direction that we should be going in. And yet, we've got people who are ideologically motivated, and if it's got a gas engine in it at all, they don't like it. So I don't think they're really, looking at the merits of it. They're just, we want to get rid of all the gas cars is basically the motivation of the administration right now.
Yeah, I always say, Phil Kerpen, it reminds me of when we had when I was in school, in high school, and we lost power, and the one substitute teacher said, "Oh, that's okay. We can just watch videos all day or films all day because it'll be dark." And so we got to plug these things in. How are we going to plug them in, and where does that power come from?
That's the other huge part of this. Is, we already have a strained electric grid in most parts of the country now. So the idea that you can move transportation fuel onto the electric grid by, replacing the whole vehicle fleet, to make that work just from a pure logistics standpoint, we need to build a lot more power plants, except, the Greens are against building every kind of power plant that actually works economically, and by the way, they're increasingly against even the renewable projects they used to be for, because they fight the permitting on those too and the transmission lines and everything else. And so, it's very hard to build anything in this country, the way the environmental groups are in the permitting process and everything else. One of the ironies of what President Biden's trying to do with all of his subsidy money in the so-called Inflation Reduction Act and all of the money he's pouring into, wind and solar and battery projects and all of that, is it's all going to red states where the people don't even necessarily support this stuff, but those are the only places you can build things, because those are the only places you can get permits and get things approved. And so we're going to have large parts of the country, the parts that that most support these policies, they're just not going to have enough electricity to power it because they're not going to be able to build the production and the transmission. And, the quote-unquote solution that they've proposed in Sacramento, in California, where they already have chronic power outages, this hasn't passed yet, but it's kind of amazing that it's even been proposed. There's a proposal in California. They want to make all the electric vehicle chargers two-way chargers so that when the grid is short of power, they can just drain your car right out of your garage and dispatch it somewhere else. They think that's a solution.
It's crazy. And then, the jobs, that's the other piece of it. And you talk about the regulations. In Pennsylvania here, we talk about this all the time because the restrictions and the new regulations and proposed regulations that are still underway, they're just forcing business and jobs to move to the south. It's a huge issue because it's just delay. And that all I hear from even the unions are that the EVs, for example, at the end of the day, they cost union jobs.
Well, that's the other aspect of this is we're moving from – this is part of what's so crazy to me about this. You remember, for decades we were told, it's so dangerous to use oil because we're so dependent on foreign supply in the Middle East and all this kind of stuff. And then what happened? We became the number one oil producer in the world thanks to technology, fracturing and horizontal drilling and so forth. We're producing 13 million barrels a day now. It would be 15 million without Biden's anti-oil and gas policies. So, we're at a record, but it should be a much higher record even than that. But, even though we're the number one oil producer in the world, you've got the left now saying, well, you know what, now we're going to forcibly, by government policy, switch from the thing that we're number one in to a thing where we are highly vulnerable to foreign supply disruptions, where China controls the supply chain for the raw materials and for the finished goods and for the intermediate, chips and the other components that go into so many of these vehicles. And so, there's a reason that the auto workers in particular are extremely critical of these mandates, and that is, they know that if we shut down internal combustion vehicle production, it's unlikely that most of the EV production that replaces it is going to be in the same places. It's more of it's going to be in China, more of it's going to be outside the country, and so we're sacrificing a lot of the jobs in the U.S. to this left-wing ideological agenda. And by the way, even Sherrod Brown, this is kind of shocking to me because he almost never votes right on anything. Even Sherrod Brown voted to stop the electric vehicle mandates because of what it means for the workers in Ohio, and I think he understands the politics of it, even though I'm sure if he gets reelected, he'll snap right back to the other side. Even he kind of gets the political situation, which is pretty interesting. And, of course, your two Democratic senators, though, they voted not to stop it. They voted to let Biden move forward with this. So they are not, for whatever reason, looking at the same political calculation as Sherrod Brown is next door there.
Well, Phil Kerpen, president of the American Commitment, columnist. I know you on your social media, Data 4, chairman of the Internet Freedom Coalition, and author Democracy Denied. So I hope you have a blessed and safe Memorial Day weekend. Phil, thanks for joining me today.
My pleasure. Have a great Memorial Day.
Thank you. You take care. Phil Kerpen. He's great. You should follow him on social media because he always has those behind the scenes stories that I love to look at and see the background. But this is the Biden's EPA calling it the strongest ever pollution standards for cars, which it claims will expand consumer choice in clean vehicles. Man, if you have a car that is in great condition, that's a gas powered car, I just wonder how much the value of these vehicles, as far as used vehicles, that value is going to rise as they shut down production of gas-powered vehicles. That's how I see it, quite frankly. So take care of your vehicle. This is The Dawn Show. I do appreciate you. 855-839-1210, the number to call. You can follow me at Dawn Stensland on X. We have great guests lined up for you. Want to hear from you. Are you on the road already? Are you headed down the shore or the Poconos, perhaps? We'll talk about the Poconos. I've got some stories there, too, and the Jersey Shore. The teenagers who might be headed to Wildwood because they think, they're cracking down in Sea Isle, they're cracking down in Ocean City on the boardwalk, so I'm going to head to Wildwood. I've got an update for you there. We're going to take a quick break. Stay right there. Be right back.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-688-6641.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-688-6641. That's 800-688-6641.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Water quality continues to be in topic. Ensure your family is drinking clean, pure water with the Kinetico water system from Martin Water Conditioning. The Kinetico system improves all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap? Crystal clear, all natural, delicious water. Put the Martin Water Conditioning family's passion for water to work for you. Do what I did. Contact Martin Water Conditioning. Visit martinwater.com. martinwater.com. Be sure to tell them Dom sent you.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we have absolutely incredible offers and a plethora of both new and certified Volvos from which to choose. We are eager to offer amazingly competitive prices, plus an additional $1,000 Costco discount on all new Cherry Hill Volvos. When leasing or purchasing a new or certified Cherry Hill Volvo, you become a valued part of our team. Join Cherry Hill Volvo for the pricing and attention you deserve. I am Judith Krupnick, president of Cherry Hill Volvo.
Did you know you can stream Fox News Radio on the free Odyssey app? Just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio to hear the voices you trust. Brian Kilmeade.
Why are we so scared of Iran thinking they were at war with them?
Guy Benson.
Get the bleep out of here. It's disgusting.
Jimmy Fela.
Then this administration rolled into town with a checkbook.
Are all on the free Odyssey app. From the news and talk to keep you informed and up to date during election season. Listen to Fox News Radio on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Yo, Roy is Ford. What? We know your favorite station is 1210 WPHT.
We will get into the Bronx big Trump rally. What a trip it was. It was so much fun to work with Sean Farish. He's so good this morning. Thank you, Sean. Nick Hale, is Nick, let's see, Nick might still be on the road with traffic right before Nick nap time. But what a fun morning we had as we hopefully are entertaining you and informing you as perhaps you're already headed out on the road. Tell me where you're headed as far as the Jersey Shore, the Poconos, with family this weekend, maybe in part. Maybe you'll be at one of our local cemeteries or maybe headed to D.C. to think about all the different services and commemorations for this Memorial Day weekend as we honor and pay tribute to those who've paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms. I do want to get, and that's 855-839-1210 is that number to call. But a couple of stories. First of all, did you feel the earthquake? There was this earthquake overnight, recorded in New Jersey early this morning, not far from the location where the U.S. Geological Survey reports. 2 other quakes happened in recent weeks, in that rare magnitude 4.8 quake, remember, last month. This time it's a 2.9 magnitude, according to the Geological Survey there. But it's about 4 miles west-southwest of Gladstone, Somerset County, and that's just shy of maybe 50 miles from New York City. No reports of injuries, no reports of damage, but what the heck? And I have so many friends who are saying, who knew Jersey had a fault line? What's going on here? So if you have a theory, 855-839-1210 is the number to call. And want to give just a shout out to all the great police work, detective work. I know on many different layers of law enforcement across our region. I know from Abington to, my goodness, the main line, the suburbs of Philadelphia, and Philadelphia as well, Plymouth Township, Upper Makefield Police, Tredyffrin Township, Easttown Township, Willistown Township, Bryn Mawr, I think I said Villanova already, Newtown Square, so many. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about, those tourist burglars. They're just tourists. So they come here, they cross the border illegally as a tourist burglar. So we've talked all the time about those individuals who cross the border illegally, and maybe somebody, maybe Bill Malutian from Fox, says, "Hey, why are you coming here?" And contrary to the lies by the Biden administration, they say, "I'm coming for work. I'm coming for work." Now, hopefully, most of them are genuinely coming here to work hard, in an honest kind of job. In this case, not so much. They are coming to work hard, but not for good reasons, but rather nefarious ones. So this burglary ring is a huge burglary ring. They're still looking for other suspects, but these are illegals. Chile, Peru, coming from other countries, as we've seen. And the first guy arrested was identified by authorities as 25-year-old Claudio Fuentes Soto, and he was arrested in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. But others, and they tracked him to at least half a dozen burglaries in other areas in Villanova, Newtown Square, etc. That guy is in custody, Montgomery County Correctional Facility, and awaiting trial on those charges. I don't know how that works, if they notify ICE, if they have to go through a trial and then ICE can come and get them and deport them. I have no idea what the process is, but it doesn't end there. You have all of these other individuals being identified as illegals from Argentina, Chile. What are the other countries? I had them all listed here. And by the way, they're busy. They're traveling not just Pennsylvania, but New Jersey, Ohio. We have them in Connecticut, New York, as far as Florida, California. And so then there are others who are being held on other unrelated matters, and I don't have that information as to what they're being held for. Are they violent incidents? I don't have that information, but here's a Peruvian national. So this is concerning. And as they look for other suspects, because they believe that they have gotten a good number of rounding up these burglars who are illegals here. But this is not making national headlines. And as well, many of the stories you see, and I just want you to watch for this. You will see the headline, right? Locally, you'll see it on your local station. But why don't they say that these individuals cross the border illegally, what countries they're coming, from, which are countries far and wide, and we've talked about that, but they're coming here to commit these burglaries. And I might add, the cartels are getting people and underage people who, God knows, maybe they're being human trafficked to do this. But you know how we are talking about the fact that across the region they lock up, there are certain items that you see and they're locked up in the store. And so now there's word from law enforcement sources that some of these individuals who are illegals, put up by the cartels and gangs, so they go into your local store. Maybe it's King of Prussia Mall. Maybe it's your local Rite Aid. Maybe it's the CVS. And they shoplift because they know the policies. They know that nobody's going to stop them. They're going to get away with it. And they take those items and then they turn over the loot and they turn it over to the cartels, who then sell it. And they're selling it on the streets in a black market type situation. And that's what's happening right now. This is a big business. So I just want to put this in your head as to what's going on here. And why do you think all of these individuals in the Bronx, which is one of the bluest areas in the nation, and you have them cheering on who? Donald J. Trump. And good for him to be so bold as to go into the Bronx. I know he loves New York City. This is, his hometown, if you will, loves New York, and he would really love, obviously, to take New York. We can debate that, but I don't think that's the point. The point is that he wants to reach people. He wants to say, hey, maybe you won't vote for me, but think about it. And I'm here to represent you. And by the way, whether or not you vote for me, I'm going to win and I'm going to represent you and I'm going to make America great again, because I love New York. I love the Bronx. and you're being played. Your rights are being violated. And these illegals have come in, and they're getting all the resources, and you are the victims of these crimes and survivors. So please consider this. And, it's really respectful if you think about it. He's not saying, I'm not going to waste my time on those people because I'm only running, and going to places where I know I'm going to win. That's not what Trump's doing. I love it. I think it's a great message to say, I respect you. I want to serve you. Please, let me come in for a job interview and at least state my case. I think it's really a sign of respect. I love it. And it's not pandering, by the way. And he's not saying stupid stuff like Biden did at the predominantly historically African-American college right this week. No, he's saying, please let me sit down or stand up, rally for, just a moment of your time and tell you why I want to work for you and ask you, please consider me for this job. I think it's the ultimate respect that he's paying for people who have been disrespected the most and who have been taken for granted by Democrats. I hope he comes here to Philadelphia. I think it would be awesome. By the way, Biden coming to our region next Wednesday. I want to put that on your radar. All right, quick break because I have to stay on time today. We have some great guests lined up for you. I want to take you to the case of a battalion chief, Philadelphia firefighter serving nearly 3 decades as a man, and is now known as Jane Doe because this gentleman in his mid-50s is making a transition as a battalion chief, as a firefighter, and now is a lady firefighter, lady chief, making the transition, but now suing the city of Philadelphia, 6-figure lawsuit saying, hey, to help treat my transgender dysphoria, etc., you have to pay for all of my plastic surgery. You have to pay for my nose job. This is happening in Philadelphia right now as I speak. Involves the union, involves the insurance companies, and you pay for it. The union workers pay for it, right? This is to me, this is a test case, if you will, and we have to look at this, and we'll take a greater look right around the corner. 855-839-1210. Thanks for being here. Be right back.
According to a study conducted by Atticus Law Firm, 40% of retirees were forced back into the workforce because they received a deceptive sales pitch from their broker. But there is one way to ensure that you don't become part of that statistic.
Tony Gambone and Denise Gambone, Royersford, Pennsylvania.
I know people that had to go back to work because they got bad investment advice from brokers. By recording our sessions, Crash Proof Retirement proves they're willing to put their money where their mouth is.
The recordings used by Crash Proof Retirement, it's just a natural extension of how Crash Proof is legally bound to do right for the consumer.
Guarantee legally binding transparency for your retirement future. Schedule an appointment or register for the next Crash Proof Retirement educational event at the Lee and Penn Inn on Tuesday, June 11th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. I've told you over the years about Dr. Bentz and all the infrastructure he has there, but one thing that he does that you don't see in too many dental offices, with Dr. Bentz, my dentist, whether it's a routine visit or a comprehensive, multifaceted process, he and his team sit down with you, they create a clear plan, explain it step by step. You will see the Bentz difference with that. Contact BentzDentalGroup.com or call 610-272-6949.
Do you have a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more that you don't need? Well, don't lapse or surrender your policy. You might be sitting on a gold mine. That's right. You may be able to sell all or part of your life insurance policy to Coventry for cash, or a combination of cash and coverage with no future premiums, even a term policy. Call Coventry Direct at 800-411-8300 or visit CoventryDirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-411-8300. For over 25 years, we've helped thousands of people sell their policies. And we can probably help you, too. Call us today at 800-411-8300 or visit CoventryDirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-411-8300. Call now.
It's Window Nation's semi-annual sale, and it's a big deal. Right now, get 50% off all windows along with no interest for 5 years plus bonus savings when you schedule a consult today. If your windows leak, get foggy or hot, or you're paying high utility bills, that's a big deal. With Window Nation's semi-annual sale, you can replace your windows and save a big deal too. Schedule a no-obligation in-home estimate now. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
As a roofer, spring means the start of my busy season, which means I've got to get organized. With help from Beacon, I can save time with Beacon Pro Plus and 24/7 access to live pricing, delivery tracking, order history, and more. Plus, this spring, I can earn $1,000 and the chance to win a $25,000 backyard renovation just by buying my CertainTeed shingles online with Beacon. No purchase necessary. Now that's what I call a spring cleanup. Visit BECN.com for official rules and to start earning entries.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop. The threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Save up to 30% off any new Hyundai this Memorial Day weekend, only at Colonial Hyundai. Hi, it's John Ashdale, the Car Czar. This Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Memorial Day Monday is our 22nd annual Memorial Day sales event. Do not miss this event. This year's absolute best pricing on over 200 available vehicles, new 2024 Palisades, Konas, and the newly redesigned Santa Fe. Save up to 30% off the Hyundai of your choice, only at Colonial Hyundai. New Hyundais with monthly payments as low as $209 per month. Available financing with rates as low as 0% and terms up to 84 months. The annual Memorial Day sales event only at Colonial Hyundai. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Monday. Save up to 30% off any new Hyundai in stock for 4 days only. Shop us online 24/7 at colonialhyundai.com. Colonial Hyundai, the fast, easy, better way to buy a Hyundai.
Up to 30% off dealer listed price, includes all rebates and incentives. Offer cannot be combined with other offers. Offer ends 5/27. See dealer for more details.
Lose 20 to 40 plus pounds guaranteed with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into their radio show Sundays at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
Pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, or back that won't go away? Check out QC Kinetics. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. QC Kinetics. 215-999-3000.
Listen to Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sunday mornings at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Learn about investing, tax strategies, and more. Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sunday mornings at 9.
Splash into savings this Memorial Day with Spring Dance Hot Tubs. Soak in the relaxation and save big on new Hot Spring and Caldera Hot Tubs and save up to $4,000. Plus, when you buy a new Endless Pool Swim Spa, receive a free Aqua Bike and Exercise Kit, a $2,000 value. Looking to upgrade? Your hot tub could be worth up to $4,000. Hurry into Spring Dance Hot Tubs in Jameson, Exton, or in Plymouth Meeting in PA or in Marlton, New Jersey, and upgrade your backyard this summer. Visit us online at springdancehottubs.com for more details. Don't miss out on these incredible incredible savings.
Hi, Stephanie from Emmons. Are you not loving your bathroom? Is the King's Throne looking a little outdated and run down? Let Emmons Design Specialists design a bathroom that you will love and one that Emmons will redo in as little as 1 day. An affordable, maintenance-free bathroom with little to no inconvenience to you and your family. With finance options available, there's really only one problem. Your bathroom will be so nice, your king may never want to come out. Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on our website at callemmons.com.
Hi, I'm Mark Cuban, entrepreneur, businessman, and TV fan. People always come to me for investment advice. So here's a quick tip for you. Stop overpaying for cable and switch to Philo. What's Philo? It's the best way to watch more than 70 of your favorite channels and save big on your monthly bills. You can stream top channels like AMC, A&E, Discovery, Live, and On Demand. Philo's also got a library with thousands of hours of movies and shows just waiting for you. Plus, an unlimited DVR that lets you save all your favorites and rewatch them for up to 1 year. All of this for just $25 a month. You don't need me to tell you that this is a deal you need to make. Philo, now and forever.
Head on over to philo.tv. That's PHILO.tv. And start your 7-day free trial now.
We're kicking off the summer of 24 with a shore tradition. This afternoon, stop by the Frank S. Farley Plaza on the AC Expressway. Dom Giordano will broadcast live noon till 3. Great fun and giveaways, vintage cars, a petting zoo, and more. Plus, it's Free Toll Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. Chickies and Pete's, home of the world-famous crab fries, will pay your eastbound Egg Harbor toll. This afternoon, head down the shore with Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Free speech lives here.
Look, we had the greatest economy in history. Everybody here, where you have a small business or if you had a job, you were getting more than you ever made, and we had no inflation. We had no 1.4%, considered none, considered better than none, because frankly, none in its own way is a bad thing also. We had a perfect number, 1.4%. It doesn't matter whether you're black or brown or white or whatever the hell color you are, it doesn't matter. We are all Americans, and we're going to pull together as Americans.
So even mainstream, so-called mainstream media, reporting with a bit of surprise, talking about this and saying, whoa, wait a minute. This is DJT in one of the bluest boroughs in the nation, the Bronx. How dare you go there? But he did. He's going there and delivers this, what I believe is an inclusive message, saying, you know, the color of your skin is not the issue. We are all Americans. Isn't that an awesome message? Am I wrong here? But I think that's an inclusive message. Instead of saying, well, oh, you're all victims. And yeah, if you apply for a job, you're not going to get a job. But if you do, you know, you're going to have to work, 40 times harder than all those white people because they, they're racist. So think about the contrast, even in the past 10 days, 2 weeks, between some of the Biden messages, which tend to, even Bill Maher said, these are just antiquated messages by Biden. He's not talking about today. And on the other hand, you have Trump now going into the Bronx. I imagine the Democrats must be having a meltdown over this. I can't even imagine. But this is DJT, huge rally. They said initially 3,500. I don't hear the crowd estimates, but they're saying, thousands more than they anticipated. 6,000 people were just trying to cram in, even in the perimeter, if you will. But the former president opening his rally with that, ode to his hometown, as they say, and talking about his beginnings. And he loves New York City. He does. This is where his father built his business and, where he grew up. And even though he loves Florida and obviously moved there in 2019, he was reminiscing about his efforts, for example, to revitalize Central Park's Woolman Rink. Remember that story? You forget how much he was a darling of the media. I always say this, hey, why not, you should hate NBC because NBC put him on The Apprentice. NBC apparently didn't. They didn't vet that racist, ugliest man. Remember that back in the day? The Apprentice, NBC News, they promoted him 24/7. And he had a hit show for, what was it? I mean, it was well over a decade, I think 15 plus years. And so, he was known and celebrated for what he did for New York City to rebuild the skyline, and known for his business deals that help to revitalize business and create jobs within the real estate business, etc. But now it's, he's bad, right? So let's listen in a little bit more as this rally to, quote, make America great again. We have not seen a rally in the Bronx like this until back in the day in the 80s when Ronald Reagan dared to go into this area. So for many of these individuals here, they have never seen in their lifetime, for the younger folks, they don't have any memory or knowledge of any Republican ever coming to them with some respect and say, please just hear me out and please let me apply for the job. Let's listen in.
What's this? Did you want the Ruben Diaz here?
If you have?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
No, I wanted a little more Trump first, then I'll tee up Reverend Diaz.
All right. So first, Trump talked about plenty of topics, including talking about war. And this is one I know you all know, really. I can be critical of Trump, but a clip like this really caught my attention. And honestly, I think this is going to catch a lot of moderate attention. Not only Republicans believe this, but he talked about starting wars.
Remember Hillary Clinton used to point at me, he will create wars. No. They said his personality will create wars. I said, no, my personality is going to keep us out of wars. And I was right. First president in 78 years that didn't start a war. We had no wars. None of these stupid wars. Such a shame. When you see all the people that died in these horrible wars in the Middle East and everything else, countries didn't want us, dropping bombs all over the place. Spent $9 trillion in the Middle East. We bomb the hell out of the place, then we leave. In the old days, to the victor belong the spoils. We don't do that. We bomb the hell out of everyone, then we come back home. It's so sick. It's so sick and so stupid. These people that led us are so stupid. You want to use that as a last resort. You can solve these problems with a meeting or with a telephone call. You don't have to drop billions of dollars worth of bombs on people's heads. You don't have to.
Yeah, peace and prosperity. Now we'll take you to a moderate Democrat, Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr., former state senator, city council member, who has urged Trump to hold rallies and actually had advertised and pushed for this very rally where Trump was yesterday in the borough, held pro-Trump events in the past. Listen as Reverend Diaz Sr. addresses the crowd.
Mr. President, I am a Puerto Rican, a black Puerto Rican. I used to be a state senator for 15 years. I used to be city council member. Today I'm here for various reasons. But I want to tell you first that as a Puerto Rican, as a Hispanic, I want to apologize to you for the conduct of George Juan Merchant. As a Hispanic, I want to apologize.
Thank you.
He's been used. He has been used to destroy you. But we know better than that. We know better than that. As a minister, president of the New York Hispanic Clergy Organization, I want to tell AOC.
Girl, baby girl.
This morning, she intended to become a prophet. And she said, even God doesn't want Trump in the Bronx because it's going to rain. Madame Prophet AOC, you have become a false prophet.
Woo! How about that? You have been called a false prophet. And this is Reverend Diaz. Not a good look for AOC or Democrats. As Reverend Diaz Sr. said, it was an honor and a privilege to welcome at Real Donald Trump. This was on social media to the South Bronx and offer him my full support to be the 47th president of the United States of America. This is powerful. And maybe you're going to say, Dawn, come on. There's no way that he's going to win New York or anything. This is not about New York. This is not necessarily about the Bronx. The imagery of, this reverend, all of these individuals, if you look at that crowd, this is a diverse crowd. You can't call the man this racist individual that is racist against these people when he's rallying with them and connecting with them. And what is this about? Well, the crime, yes, the economy, and of course, we all want the same thing. But the crime in New York City and the way that it's allowed to go on, so whether it's, we talk every day about criminals or people who do criminal actions and then they're set free and they get a court date for asylum 6 years from now. That's what, I was talking earlier about that concerning case of two illegals coming here and from Jordan, right? And they came in a box truck, right? And the one guy they let go. They just said, nothing to see here, and let him go and gave him a 6-year court date. We'll see you in 6 years. God knows where he is. This kind of situation with these criminals running rampant, and I've said this for a long time, where are they going to go? They're going to go in a community where maybe they speak their language or maybe they feel like they can blend in. But if you are a hardworking, proud Hispanic American, African American, you don't, first of all, you obviously do not want these dangerous individuals, these criminals, preying on your community. And you certainly don't want these individuals in any way to represent you. You know what I'm saying? In other words, you don't want Americans to now paint with a broad brush and go, ruh-roh, look at all these criminals coming in, because you're a hardworking, good individual. These individuals are nothing like you. They don't represent you. And so that's what we're seeing here. This is huge for Trump, and it gives every person across the country, you look at this, and now you have, because what are they doing on social media and on radio programs and so on in non-English speaking broadcast entities, where they're now saying, we had a blast. Here's what Trump said. It gives everybody a permission, if you will, to say, you know what? I've been taken for granted, and that's wrong. We've been getting played. They want our vote. They expect our vote. But what are they doing for us to keep us safe, to make our schools better, our communities better? And here's somebody who pretty much, Trump knows the odds are against him, and maybe they won't vote for him, but he's still saying, hey, even though you're not going to vote for me, I'm still going to work for you. And check out the disrespect they give to you, those Democrats. They're not working for you. They just want power and money, and they want to get richer because they're partisan politicians. I'll tell you, it's a strategy that I think works for Trump. Good for him. He's shaking it up, and this is why the left hates him even more. 855-839-1210. Quick call. Frank in South Philadelphia. Hey, Frank.
How you doing this morning?
Good.
Dawn, I like to wish all the veterans and the ones that are serving right now and the ones that gave all their life to all veterans, I wish them a happy Memorial Day. To all veterans from, I belong to the VFW Post 8714 in Glendora, New Jersey, and we all wish them a happy Memorial Weekend.
Yeah, and Frank, I can hear you, the emotion in your voice, because you're thinking about, and that I think it's so important that you call and say this, Frank, because there are a lot of families, thinking about even recent events where they've lost one of our great heroic military members who paid the ultimate sacrifice, whether it happened recently, and obviously for you, Frank, as you pay tribute, this is something that is in your heart, in your mind, and makes you have a heavy heart this Memorial Day weekend.
And particularly the ones that we lost, 18 soldiers,
yes,
men and women in the Middle East this past year that we lost over there. I want to give them my condolences to all their families throughout the country over there.
Frank, you're a great American.
Would you mind if I say one more thing about Donald Trump?
Sure.
Donald Trump is a triple W, meaning he's book-wise, street-wise, and he's also world-wise. That's why he could go to any part of the country or any part of the world, and he understands people and knows how to deal with them.
Amen. Amen, brother. Thank you, Frank. You have such a good heart. Appreciate you.
And by the way, I'm leaving for Italy tomorrow.
Oh, my goodness. Take me with you.
Rub it in, yeah.
I know.
And then England, I'm going. And then England, we're watching the Phillies and the Mets play in London.
Have fun. Travel safe, Frank.
I know. Be safe. Thank you, Frank. We sure do love you. Yes, we think about our U.S. I'll talk more about Afghanistan for sure, but I'm up against a tough break as we honor those who've made the ultimate sacrifice and think about the true meaning of Memorial Day. Thank you, Frank. Thank you to all of you who keep them in our hearts. The Dawn Show returns with Christine Flowers, and we do have some developing stories we will update you with right around the corner.
It's the Saturday Night Free-for-All. Starting at 7 p.m., Talk Radio 1210 WPHT is live and local with Michael Pelka from 7 to 10 p.m.
Just look what they're doing to Robert Kennedy. They got his family to go against him in Philadelphia. And I have to say this, that family looks like there's a whole lot of problems there. I know they're trying to play off on the Camelot magic of JFK.
It's definitely been bred out of the family. The magic, I think, is gone. But that's just me.
Thanks for finding Ruben Diaz.
All. Listen this weekend. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
Window Nation presents the 1210 WPHT Veteran Spotlight in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation. Listen the first Wednesday of every month as Kale & Company shines a spotlight on a local veteran, highlighting their remarkable commitment to the community and their exceptional service in the military. Presented by Window Nation. At Window Nation, there's nothing more important than giving back to the communities we serve. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. I've been talking for years about my buddy Roy and the original Batteries Plus Bulbs 18 years ago that he founded on Route 73 in Mount Laurel. And when you stop in now, you mention my name, you're going to be entered to win a $50 gift certificate to use at the Mount Laurel and Northfield locations, no purchase necessary. For anything that you want fixed, repaired that involves technology, 856-638-0778. Batteries Plus Bulbs, Mount Laurel and Northfield.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/250. Ramp.com/250. ramp.com/250.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. The NBA playoffs have tipped off, but it's not too late to get in on the action on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to use on same-game parlays, championship futures, and a lot more. And no better place to bet all the playoff action been America's #1 sportsbook. Just go to FanDuel.com/Dom. That's FanDuel.com/Dom. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing.
But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI. Or download the app today.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Mayor Sherelle Parker issuing this mandate.
All city employees to return full-time to working in the office.
You know, she could have just summed it up by saying, we're paying you. Get your keister back into the office.
You know, Nick, the people making six figures.
It's just unbelievable. If it's 4 years later and you're afraid to come back into work, number one,
I know what mental illness looks like.
You're suffering from some sort of mental breakdown. And number two, bottom line is they're paying you. Go back to work. Get on the Schuylkill. Get angry.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And I'm here tonight to declare that we are going to turn New York City around, and we are going to turn it around very, very quickly. We're going to bring safety back to our streets. We're going to bring success back to our schools. We're going to bring prosperity back to every neighborhood and every borough of the greatest city in our land. We're going to reduce taxes. We're going to bring businesses and big taxpayers back to New York. Got to bring them back. Got to bring them back. And we're going to make New York bigger, better, and more beautiful than ever before. And that includes right here in the Bronx. And it's going to be done and funded starting on January 20th, directly from our great and beautiful White House. Is that okay?
There you have him, former President Donald J. Trump, speaking in the Bronx. Huge crowd, huge rally there, a great look in the South Bronx, as he clearly is trying to woo those minority voters. And this is days after, and as well coming up on next Tuesday, before a Manhattan judge will issue the judge's instructions. The lawyers will haggle over that, and then a Manhattan jury will begin deliberations on whether or not to convict him of felony charges in that so-called, well, it's a bookkeeping trial, what it is. He should be acquitted. It'll be overturned, but we'll see. But there he was, fired up, addressing supporters in Crotona Park, public green space there in the neighborhood. And this is, you see the crowd, I mean, a very diverse crowd. You could hear people cheering in multiple languages, I'll point out, and many speaking Spanish and as well as other language, too. If you notice, there were, it's diverse. So you had people from, let's say, Asian countries. You had, yes, some white as well, but I saw a lot of in that crowd, the so-called black and brown community and people who are bilingual, people who are immigrants who are here legally. Nobody is. Here's the thing: if you are or you know somebody who has fairly recently come to this country and you had to go through the process, or maybe you still are going through the process of getting your full citizenship and you're following the protocol, maybe you waited for years to even come here. This group of individuals that I'm speaking of is probably, because it's fresh to them, what they had to go through. And now to see people by the millions coming in, by some estimates, it's 15 million. I've seen all different estimates, 11 million, 15 million, 17 million people during the Biden administration. And so for somebody who is going through the process or has just gone through it, it's infuriating to you because not only did these people just jump in and now they're getting all this free stuff in what is clearly to me an effort by the Democrats and the Biden administration to just beef up and bolster blue areas like Philadelphia, like New York, across the country that lost population in the pandemic. To me, that's what it's about. It's just about making sure that when the next census comes, they don't lose representation, political representation in these blue areas. You see what I'm saying? And so this is how they're trying to offset that. So, your thoughts, 855-839-1210. I thought it was a great look. I thought it was an incredible rally. And you just see the energy. It's positive energy. And it's not that negative energy. We didn't even play it this morning, I don't think. But that, oh my goodness, I referenced it yesterday, the fact that it was actually live 24 hours ago when President Joe Biden, I don't know if you heard this. We'll have to pull this up and get Christine Flowers' take, Anthony. But it was at some point when during that news conference, where President Joe Biden was there with a president from Africa, and he's saying, we're here at this historic joint news conference. We'll play that and get Christine's reaction. But I see that we have Christine Flowers. She's in the studio here. Hey, my friend.
Hey, gorgeous. It's so much fun to be back here. I was coming and it's like, oh my God, the ghosts in this studio. I used to sit behind this mic. It's so neat. And I loved listening to your commentary about immigrants because I just came from ICE. I just came from the ICE office.
You did? Really?
Yeah, now, down at 8th and Race.
And you are an immigration attorney.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And what you said has an absolute ring of truth. People who have to go through what so many people I know have gone through are not happy about a system and administration, this administration in particular, which is basically not policing the border, leaving the border open in certain areas and then over-policing it at other points, which is because they don't have enough Border Patrol agents. The guys don't, CBP doesn't want to do this work because they don't get, they're not paid what they should be paid. The criticisms from their supervisors are horrific. The lies told about them, for example, officers on horseback whipping Haitian immigrants, complete lie, no apology from this administration. So it is a mess. The policies that Biden has put into place are not pleasing anyone, by the way. There are a lot of immigration attorneys, a lot of very left-leaning immigration attorneys who are very upset at what he is attempting to do with the asylum process. So It's completely, it's falling apart. I go to ICE fairly frequently. I will say, as a plug for the ICE agents here in Philadelphia, our office is fantastic. They are responsive to phone calls. They are generally quite compassionate. And so the criticism that I hear from certain quarters about the enforcement wing of immigration they ring false. They don't ring true to me. And again, this is only anecdotal. It's personal, but I've been doing this, Dawn, since 1994. So that's 30 years. I've seen a sea change in what's happening.
It's amazing you became an attorney at age 7.
Yeah, I know. I was really just a prodigy. That's exactly right. Thank you.
Yes, of course. But, you bring up, I just, if I can run some stories by you in the headlines, because you're just in the ICE office. So does ICE get a call, for example, a story that, and not everybody reports it this way, but this big burglary ring that was just broken up thanks to the hard work of law enforcement detectives across our region, working with law enforcement municipalities at many different levels, in the main line. I know Villanova, I was naming Abington, but these are individuals who are identified by my sources as here illegally from countries like Chile and Venezuela, Peru, and they're part of this large burglary ring. There are some of them being held, I know, in the Montgomery County Correctional Facility, and some of them they've caught either here or they're doing extradition because they're alleged to have committed these burglary crimes. I mean, as far as California, but it's the same ring. So when something like this happens and the news breaks, does ICE get a phone call? Like, are they called to the Montgomery County Correctional Facility where they have a man there being held for these multiple he's alleged to have committed these crimes?
It depends on the jurisdiction. So Philadelphia has been a so-called sanctuary city for years, since under Kenny. Kenny kind of initiated that whole
the Prosecco
mess.
mayor.
Right. Yeah, Prosecco mayor. Oh, my God. Is he really mayor? It's only been a couple of months since Parker has actually been mayor, and I'll tell you, there's been a sea change. I'm very pleasantly surprised, but anyway, the bad memories like the corners of my mind, God forbid, of Kenny. And under Kenny, everyone remembers that video of him doing the happy dance, about when he basically sort of defied the feds when the feds sued Philadelphia because of its sanctuary city status. So Philadelphia will not. And it's a policy, it's not a law, it's a policy that they've adopted, that if someone is taken into custody because they have been suspected of committing a serious crime, and burglary is indeed a serious crime, the police are instructed not to cooperate, not only are they not supposed to notify ICE, if ICE gets a tip that someone has been arrested, if they do, an FDIS background check on the fingerprints and there's a hit and ICE reaches out to local enforcement in a sanctuary city, the police are not allowed to cooperate, give information, or put a temporary hold on the individual so that ICE can come and get them. They will not honor anything other than what they call a warrant. And usually ICE doesn't swear out warrants. They don't go to a federal magistrate and say, we want a warrant to pick this person up, because they have authority under federal law. They have the authority to police illegal aliens, non-documented immigrants in the United States. So they shouldn't have to go that extra step. But Philadelphia is one of those sanctuary cities. To be really honest, I could not tell you whether or not Montgo, Delco, and Bucks County are sanctuary jurisdictions. I think each township can sort of set its own policy. I would assume that there are some parts of Delaware County that are in fact sanctuaries. Delco is essentially Philly West. It's just basically become. I was saying that to a friend the other day. I said, I grew up in Delco. I love Delco.
West.
But yeah, I mean, it's people who are unhappy in an urban setting because of the crime and what have you, and they move out to the suburbs, and Delco being the nearest inner ring suburb, they go out there, they find this beautiful house, and it's not that expensive, and there's a little bit of a lawn, and you can grow vegetables, and I'm showing my Italian background here, and, you can do all these nice things, but we have to transplant and graft our liberal, progressive, uber woke policies on this beautiful little bucolic area that we've moved to, and essentially turning it into, like I said, Philly West. That's what's happened. County council in Delaware County is now all Democrat, and not just, your normal run-of-the-mill, okay, get along, Joe Manchin kind of Democrat. No, very, very progressive, woke Democrats. So Delco is very likely, in many areas, a sanctuary city, which would mean that, you commit crimes. And there is a very large immigrant population in Delaware County, especially around Upper Darby. I doubt that they would be cooperating with local law enforcement. And what gets me, Dawn? There's something called, and I think I've talked to you about this before, there's something called a U visa. U as in the letter U. And what that is if you have been a victim of a crime, whether you are documented or undocumented, or a citizen. Well, no, that's not true. This is for undocumented aliens. If you've been a victim of a crime and you go to the police, they're not going to deport you. And not only that, they're not going to, connect you for deportation. They are going to be able to help you obtain your legal status in the United States, because the U visa is for people who were victims of crimes, who have cooperated with law enforcement, and they are ultimately able to legalize their status, get a visa, and then ultimately the green card this way. So all of these talks about, the sanctuary city is needed because law enforcement is preying upon these poor immigrants and they're afraid to go to the police because they're going to be deported. That's a crock, because it's not true. There is a very viable, compelling way for victims of crimes to be helped. Now, the only ones who are not going to be helped by this are the perpetrators of the crimes. And yes, there are non-documented perpetrators of crimes. While I would say it's a much, much smaller percentage than native-born criminals, still, if you're here without permission, and on top of that, you layer on top of that the fact that you've committed a crime, you kind of, you want law enforcement to contact ICE, because they're the ones who can determine whether or not this person is a public danger, a threat, and should in fact be here or not.
It's so true. Let's take a quick, can you stay?
Oh, absolutely.
For a moment?
Yeah.
We're going to continue the conversation. A lot of other headlines to talk about. 855-839-1210, the number to call. Quick break. Thanks for being here this Friday. Be right back.
Radio 1210 WPHT.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we have absolutely incredible offers and a plethora of both new and certified Volvos from which to choose. We are eager to offer amazingly competitive prices, plus an additional $1,000 Costco discount on all new Cherry Hill Volvos. When leasing or purchasing a new or certified Cherry Hill Volvo, you become a valued part of our team. Join Cherry Hill Volvo for the pricing and attention you deserve. I am Judith Krupnick, president of Cherry Hill Volvo.
Have you questioned your doctor about symptoms like low energy, digestive issues, brain fog, joint pain, just not feeling right, just something is off, and you're only left settling for unanswered questions, or worse, being told it's just because you're getting older? You don't have to settle for unanswered questions any longer. With Younger Me MD's exclusive VIP membership program, aging doesn't have to make you feel older. Their proven 3-step process and functional medicine approach helps you discover the underlying causes of your issues. As a member, you get access to high-level personalized treatment plans, as well as discounts on treatments and supplements. If you're ready to live the life you deserve, it's time to learn about Younger Me MD's VIP membership program. Call 445-266-4024. 445-266-4024. That's 445-266-4024. And schedule your consultation with Younger Me, MD.
Introducing the Honickman Center at Jefferson Health. Outpatient care designed by patients like you. Together, we're shaping the future of medicine. where advanced technology and comprehensive services ensure convenience and accessibility for all patients. Everything you need to simplify the complexity of care is available in one location. Uncompromising care delivered by world-class physicians. To schedule an appointment, call 1-800-JEFF-NOW.
Weather sponsored by Budget Blinds.
Warm temperatures continue through the holiday weekend. Partly sunny today, a scattered shower storm possible across far southern New Jersey and Delaware. It'll be hot but less humid, high 86. Tonight, mostly clear, low 66. And for Saturday, a mix of sun and clouds, high 86.
Spring is here, and now is the time to budget. Budget Blinds is your one-stop shop for blinds, shades, shutters, custom drapery, and motorization. Visit budgetblinds.com for a free in-home consultation and the only no questions asked warranty in the business. Budgetblinds.com.
I want to tell you about my friend, my dentist, and the master of dental implants, Dr. Mike Veneria at Veneria Dental. You know, we're approaching special occasion season, graduations, showers, weddings. If you're getting ready for a special event, don't forget your smile, because it's going to be in all the pictures. Get your smile special occasion ready by making an appointment with Dr. Mike today. I've been telling you about Dr. Mike for years. My entire family goes to Dr. Veneria because the level of care and commitment to dental excellence that Dr. Mike and his staff delivers to every patient is unmatched. He's been delivering results that surpass expectations, and that has made him a top dentist in New Jersey for 10 consecutive years. So if you've been on the fence about getting that dental procedure done, give Dr. Veneria a call. I promise you won't be disappointed. With 2 locations to serve you in Cinnaminson and Woodbury, schedule your free implant consultation today for your perfect smile. Call 856-786-2020 or visit veneriadental.com.
Hi, this is Joe Mederchik, PNC Bank Regional President. Down the corner, around the block, and maybe even in your parking lot, PNC continues to bring banking services closer to your door. Greater Philadelphia is now one of 10 regions where we've permanently introduced the PNC Bank mobile branch. This bank on wheels can be seen rolling up to community organizations across the Delaware Valley. On site and by your side, the PNC Mobile Branch is part of our commitment to supporting communities that need it most. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Rebates, and tax credits. This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Now is the time to replace that old heating and cooling equipment that you've been putting off replacing. Did you know that between PICO, the manufacturers, and federal tax credits, we can save you up to $3,800? Look, we know that replacing your HVAC equipment isn't cheap, so call our family-owned and run company and let our expertise in this area help you get high-efficiency, reliable equipment for a fair price. Visit us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinecans.com.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at californiapsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
President Joe Biden in Philadelphia, planning his trip to Philadelphia next Wednesday, by the way. His 5th visit to the area, 7th to Pennsylvania this year. And we are honored to be joined by the great Christine Flowers, who is, as you know, is an attorney who represents legal asylum or legal individuals who want to come to this country legally, I should say. But as well, we see you on 6ABC on Sunday's Political Show. We see your columns, your great columns. Thanks for being here this Friday.
You know, I have to tell you, Dawn, you have given me credibility with people who normally don't like me because the fact that we're friends, because you're just beloved by so many people. And the fact that we're friends has convinced some of my slightly less devoted acquaintances to say, well, I can't be all that bad if Dawn likes you.
Stop.
No, I'm dead serious. You think I'm joking. I'm going to show you some threads on social media. Anyway, no, I love being here. Thanks. I always love talking to you. Thanks for having me.
Back at you. No, and I think that's the piece of it that it's actually, I'll tell you what, that day, and we were down the shore that day when one of my kids or my husband called it the Darth Biden speech here in Philadelphia. Do you remember? I'll never forget. We were in Ocean City, and it was Labor Day weekend, and we're watching this thing. And he's got the red. They created this lighting behind him, and it was just wow. It was over the top, and he was saying basically, if you vote for Trump, or basically if you're a Republican or if you're a conservative, all of the above, you're this evil. You've gone to the dark side. You are evil.
It's very true. It's
Listen,
exactly.
Anthony. Seriously.
The Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, I saw
Scary.
that too. It was very scary. And there are two possible takes. One is that he had absolutely no idea what he was doing, and they set him up, and he was reading it, which is really bad because it shows that he's incompetent, which is a possibility. But I actually do think that there is some kernel of some part of Joe Biden's being that really is angry, hostile, and just completely opposed and antithetical to those of us who don't agree with him down the line. It is kind of, it's like what was happening to Harrison Butker last week, where people just took it so personally that he didn't agree with them, that he didn't like, that they couldn't deal with what he was saying, and so they went ballistic. And I see us as Harrison Butker. I see the people who don't agree with Joe Biden are just not part of his plan. He can't understand why we just won't sit back, shut up, and let him do what he wants to do. And it's very personal. And I remember people talking about President Obama and, feeling that he was not our president. And I disagreed with that because although, there was that Brie and Chablis and clinging to their guns and religion moment, I never felt ever in my entire, 8 years of being under President Obama that my president hated me.
Yes.
I do feel, and I've said this to people, I feel that Joe Biden hates me. And I think that it's getting harder and harder for his handlers to hide it because he's stopped being that hail fellow well met kind of character. Yeah. He's no longer, Joe from Scranton. Now he's becoming, as an older person, it's almost like he's saying, I don't give a blank what people think of me anymore. I'm going to tell you what I think of you. And that's fine, except the problem is he's in the White House. And he's supposed to represent all of us, and he's a very divisive character. And I am praying to, my Latin teacher used to say, St. Paul and all the German saints. St. Paul was not German, but anyway, she was German. That he does not get elected to a second term. I just think it would be devastating.
Amen. Cynical had put this out on social media. What scares Democrats about this rally is that it shows them the people whose votes they've taken for granted for many decades are starting to leave the Democrat plantation of victimhood in favor of the uplifting, empowering message of Donald Trump and his aspiration to make America a place that is great again for all Americans. Times are changing. Just pointing out what didn't happen, and I talked about this earlier this morning, and I think it's a great point of all the things that did not happen at this rally. It was peaceful. It was high energy. And he was not promising handouts. He was not promising anything of that nature. This was Trump promising these individuals, I promise you, you hire me, and I will make sure that we have prosperity, we have peace, that you can do business, that you can have your jobs.
Yeah.
And that's significant.
It was joyous. I saw it, and I saw the backpedaling that some of the mainstream media tried to do to try and sort of poke holes in the joyous nature and the enthusiasm that people exhibited at that rally. And they couldn't do it. And they couldn't do it also because it was the Bronx. But I did hear a couple of commentators, Dawn, saying things like, well, these people can't all be from the Bronx. He must have bussed them in. You know, they didn't take their ID cards or the registration cards to see if they were actually residents of the Bronx, because they could not believe that a New York borough would be so enthusiastic about Donald Trump, because we've been told, rightly so, that Manhattan hates him, and Brooklyn hates him, and I'm sure Long Island hates. Well, maybe not Long Island. I'm not sure.
No, I think Long Island might like him.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the scrappier parts of New York, that where you have a higher percentage of blue collar workers or people with the blue collar mentality, you can still be a multimillionaire with a blue collar mentality. And I think that there are a lot of people all across the country. But it is surprising and upsetting to Democrats when they see this kind of enthusiasm in a blue area, in a very, very blue area. And one of the commentators last night said, well, this just means that the Democrats are going to have to spend money in places that they didn't think they were going to have to spend them, which I think is really revelatory. I don't know if I'm using the correct word, but it shows that what the Democrats have always done is take their demographics for granted. They've taken immigrants for granted. They've taken people of color for granted, minorities. They've taken women for granted. They basically said, we don't have to work hard to get their votes because they're ours. We own them. They are our people. So we don't need to make that extra effort. And what you were saying, it's they're coming to a very scary realization on their part that, yes, indeed, they do have to work, because there are a lot, there are a lot of immigrants who are inclined to support Donald Trump because they like his message. There are a lot of minorities, black men, who are encouraged by his outreach to them in particular. So I think that rally was sort of the canary in the coal mine for the Democrats, that they look at that and they think, we may not have this wrapped up. And polls can be dismissed. People can play with numbers. You can't dismiss bodies on the ground. You can't dismiss that critical mass of people out there screaming. They weren't paid. That wasn't like walking around money that you get on election day in Philadelphia. Those people want it to be there. Just like down in, was it Cape May that they had the rally, or Wildwood, a couple of weeks ago? I mean, people were setting up chairs 24 to 48 hours beforehand so that they could get a good spot. And it's always dismissed and poo-pooed by the liberal-leaning media because I think they're scared.
Yeah, well, they were even putting out pictures in the left-leaning media of, here's the small crowd. And then there were fact checkers saying that picture is from the 11 a.m. hour. The rally's at 6, trying to, say that, oh, no, this crowd's not that big. Christine Flowers, my friend, have a blessed weekend. Thank you so much.
You too, my
joining
darling.
Us.
Happy Memorial Day, everybody. Love you.
Thank you. Love you back. And you know who I love, too? I love Piazza Premium Automobiles. They're always going to help you find that vehicle, Piazza Auto Group as well. But when I think of Piazza Premium Automobiles, ooh, that luxury vehicle. You've earned it. Go get it with a little help from my friends at Piazza, with thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles available right now from some of the most beautiful, powerful brands on the road: Mercedes-Benz, Land Rover, Jaguar, Maserati. I love that Grecale. I really do. Maserati, BMW, Porsche. Visit PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. You can always stop by one of their many dealerships across Pennsylvania, Delaware, or New Jersey. PIAZZA, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Rich Zioli.
So I just want to make sure my take on Woodrow Wilson is strong and clear and nobody has any questions. I hate the man's guts.
What about Edith Wilson? What do you think of her?
I hate her too.
Okay.
When I can't sleep, I sit there and remind myself of all the reasons why I hate Woodrow Wilson. To lull myself back.
Instead of counting sheep, you count reasons to hate Woodrow Wilson.
Exactly.
It's a very effective strategy, let me tell you.
Rich Cioli, weekday afternoons 3 to 7. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-688-6641. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-688-6641. That's 800-688-6641. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle. Unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale & Company. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, but it's not too late to get in on the action with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. Listen to this. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 you can use on same-game parlays, like which player will score the first basket, how many three-pointers a specific player will take, and if a player can score 25 or more points. Live bets, championship futures, and so much more. There's so many options right there in the FanDuel app. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg to get started. FanDuel.com/Greg. There's no better place to get in on all the playoff action than America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over, present in PA. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Something amazing is happening. Data is powering insights and innovation. Network security has cyber attacks playing defense. Devices are improving the quality of work and the quality of life. That's what happens when you partner with CDW. Our experts help you get the most from your technology. We work with you to plan it, build it at scale, and manage it, so you can do amazing things. CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at CDW.com.
Losing your family's home movies and photos would be devastating. That's why Legacy Box exists, to preserve your family's recorded moments digitally, ensuring they're safe forever. Think of the time and money your family invested to capture family vacations, birthdays, even your wedding. Recording a lifetime of memories was a commitment. Camcorders cost thousands, and cameras required film and development. Legacy Box is the final step to preserve your family's past. Thankfully, it doesn't require another big investment. Legacy Box is safe, simple, and affordable. Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box to convert their analog media to digital. You owe it to your family to safeguard your memories. Become your family's hero and save them before it's too late. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering an exclusive discount when you go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
Listen to Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sunday mornings at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Learn about investing, tax strategies, and more. Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sunday mornings at 9.
Your weekend just got a lot better. Sunday mornings with Barry Siebel and friends.
Going to the border. What an experience I had last week. And I'm going to tell you all about it with my special guest, Jonathan Lines from Yuma, Arizona. I saw people walking across the border, then being picked up and processed to live here in the U.S. All on us. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Barry Siebel and friends. Listen Sunday mornings at 10 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
The ride you want is what we've got, so
drive a little and
save a lot.
At TurnersvilleJeep.com, the deal you'll be bragging about for the rest of the year awaits. See TurnersvilleJeep.com's big selection and save on the one you love. And right now, save even more with zero-down lease deals at TurnersvilleJeep.com. The ride you want is what we've got, so
drive a little and
save a lot.
TurnersvilleJeep.com, your premier New Jersey Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Wagoneer dealer.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
Oh, Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden on this Friday, heading into Memorial Day weekend. Where's Hunter? He is headed for a pretrial hearing, Wilmington, Delaware, and he is set to arrive this morning and learn more about, this trial that I know was delayed until September. What a disaster that could be if, in fact, they push this thing off until September, right before the November election, and we just have this hot mess, if you will, in the headlines with Hunter Biden. But this has to do with the gun charges. And if you remember when this was learned, that in fact he had tried to cut this deal with prosecutors to avoid the gun charges when he had admitted to being addicted to crack or whatever other drugs that he was doing that he had talked about at the time. And there were people, even this went viral with people saying, whoa, that's a mandatory federal sentence. How does he get away with that? These are mandatory sentences. And all these individuals who have cleaned up their lives, but they did serve the time. And they were angry about it. Most of those individuals were from the so-called, the black and brown community that we talk about. And so this whole look of Hunter Biden, guns, drugs, all the other sordid details, what a nightmare for Biden. One more problem, one more thing to worry about as we head into the November 5th election. And if Hunter's on trial next fall, yay, what a mess. I just wanted to put that on your radars, one of these issues that we'll be talking about certainly moving forward. I don't know if back in the day, did you see the movie? I just saw this headline. Do you remember the movie? Was it Supersized? It was a documentary. I don't know.
Supersize Me, about McDonald's.
And it was the person, Morgan Spurlock, Supersize Me, the filmmaker. He's now 53 years old. New York Post, I just saw this passing through, that it says that he has died at the age of 53. Wow.
That's young.
I know he had a wife and at least one child, but
he did other projects too.
Yes.
Not so long ago.
But I didn't know if anybody saw that he was vegan. He had said that he was a health nut. He wanted to prove how if you ate something like fast food every day, in other words, if you put junk in your body, it's very bad for you. But it was a great documentary, opened my eyes. But apparently the New York Post confirms what a sad day it was, his family putting this word out, that he had been battling cancer, and that they announced that he had just died of cancer. Oh, my goodness. Just so sad. Oops, my audio is playing on the story. I pushed on it. But I remember that we had watched it as a family. My stepson Jonathan had said, "You got to see this documentary," back in the day, and we had watched it. I just saw that. I said, "Oh my gosh." So 855-839-1210. I'm sorry, is my ADD. I don't really have ADD, but in this job it kind of works for you if you do, because you have to pay attention to everything, right? So there are advantages to that you can sort of like spinning plates and juggling them at the same time. 855-839-1210. Can we get to Charles? He's calling from South Jersey, as Hunter Biden is in federal court right now for that gun charge hearing, pretrial motions. Hey, how are you, Charles?
Hey, Dawn, how are you?
Good, thank you.
You know, I recently heard Bill Maher say that if Michael Cohen is guilty of campaign finance fraud, how can Trump not be guilty of campaign finance fraud, right? Well, the answer to that is Cohen's not guilty of campaign finance fraud. And the one witness that could have testified to that fact, and he would have pointed that out, was the witness that this judge kept out. The judge claimed that he didn't want the jury to get confused. Well, how would the judge possibly know that the jury would be confused? Is he insulting their intelligence? And if the jury is that confused about campaign finance law, at least as it relates to this case, then why is he charging them with making a determination whether it was violated or not? You know, I think in the closing argument, what the defense ought to do is say, you know, how rotten Michael Cohen is and he's a liar and all this kind of stuff. But the one thing he's not guilty of is campaign finance fraud, and neither is Donald Trump.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely, you know, you make the point here, and you're talking about Bradley Smith, former FEC commissioner, and he's now, I believe, a law professor. But in this case, what happened was the judge, Juan Merchan, he had said he had greatly limited what the Trump defense team lawyers could ask Bradley Smith on the stand. So Bradley Smith could have been asked about the federal, you know, the Federal Elections Commission, right? He could have said, this is what they do, this is the law. He could give background information, but they would not. They would have. The judge greatly limited what questions could be asked, and so they chose not to put him up there because essentially they were so limited and handcuffed, if you will. But what I think is significant is that the judge essentially wants to limit somebody who was the FEC, you know, head of the FEC, a major commission in our government, right? He's going to limit that what that individual can say. On the other hand, he did not limit what Michael Cohen, you know, could say. He did not limit what Stephanie Clifford, Stormy Daniels could say, but in fact, he would limit what Brad Smith could say. So all I'm always asking for is consistency. If he had let all of them just say, yep, go at it in your defense, you can vigorously defend your client and ask them, you know, and sort of give them some rope, and he gave everybody rope like that, okay, that's consistent at least. But it's the inconsistency. It's that on one side, he's going to silence and greatly limit the ability of defense attorneys to defend, you know, their client and have that testimony. On the other side, with the prosecution, even the judge at the end of the day